And a very warm welcome to Formula Racing League on PlayStation 5. We are live here for round 9 of the PureSimGear Super Sprint Sunday Series, and we are at Zandvoort, the home of Formula 1 World Champion Max Verstappen. If you just slightly listen out, you can hear the beat of Super Max going on in the background, but Max Verstappen isn't here tonight. Instead, we have got the likes of Adam Anderson, Ben Berryman, McCutcheon, Naisbitt, Morex, Frank, Gedman and others, to name a few drivers on the grid tonight. And we have got a titanic battle in both Pro and Am class up for grabs in the final 2 rounds here for PureSimGear Super Sprint Sunday. We have got a Pro category championship battle coming to the very end between Morex and Ahmed Al-Douri, and in the Am category we have got an extremely close battle between teammates, it must be said, from the same racing team of Danny McCutcheon from Scotland and Gordon Captain, the 134 Audi. Here he is. But our attention is currently on Dan Naisbitt, who is the first man out on track, and he's the first man going to be across the line to set a flying lap in the 242 Lamborghini. But we're at an absolute roller coaster of a track tonight. Zandvoort, it is a great track. I tell you what, it's not raced at very often, Zandvoort, but it is. I think it is a quality track. It is like being on a roller coaster, as we see Danny McCutcheon, the Am class leader, crossing the line with a 136.745. So that is the early benchmark. After the first flying laps, we'll see if anyone else can go quicker as they come across the line. Let's just have a look at our championship leader in the Pro category. Here he is, the 99 Audi. He's coming around the final corner now. So, hope you're all doing well. Hope you all have enjoyed an extremely hot weekend in the UK. We have reached temperatures of 30 degrees in the UK this weekend, and it is 33 degrees here on track at Zandvoort. The beach and coast just a very short walk away from the track, and we're certainly feeling the temperatures of that with 33 ambient and 42 degrees track. Them tyres are going to be like marshmallows in a hot frying pan after about 5 minutes. We could be witnessing a couple of races tonight where tyre life will be the deciding factor. The drivers are going to have to really look after their tyres tonight, because 42 degrees track, wow, that is hot. You could fry an egg on that track surface, scrambled or poached, you choose. But quickest man on track so far is the Ferrari of MGK. He is quickest with a 135.8. And Al-Douri is putting the challenge down to his championship rival. Just a reminder, the top 2 in Pro is this man here. Ahmed Al-Douri currently sits P2 in the Pro category, and he is, I believe, 22 points behind Morex, who currently occupies P4. Here he is on your screens. Now as Al-Douri goes provisional pole with 35.855. So Morex leads the championship by 22 points to Ahmed Al-Douri. And then the Am category, Danny McCutcheon leads the way, currently P3 overall, quickest man of the AMS thus far, just proving why he is currently top spot of the category. But his championship rival is Captain. Now this man is not far behind at all. I think it's only about 12 points gap. I could give or take a few points either side. So the Am category is very much up for grabs, and so is the Pro. 22 points. You know, there is still a lot of points on the board to be taken, so it's certainly not done and dusted for Morex, and Ahmed Al-Douri will be looking to pile the pressure on tonight, but he's got to do well tonight, Al-Douri, to kind of really put pressure on going into the final round of the championship. But he's doing just that, as he's just scraped by an absolute whisker provisional pole there. But look at that, MGK 0.002 away from his time. That Ferrari is excuse me, flying around here. We've got really back down in 72 there, the 808, I believe. That is HP8 Gamer, who was off, and he's still off there, just Porsche kind of getting out of the way of the traffic. He's got a car coming up behind him, he's got to watch out for that as well. That's Ben Berryman behind in the Porsche. So yeah, hope you've all had a good weekend. Hope you're looking forward to tonight. And this should be a very good race. And I said Zandvoort, as I was saying, it was I think it is an underrated track. I think, you know, not many people race on here. A lot of Discords, a lot of series. Zandvoort is leftly forgotten about, but I do think it can provide some absolutely phenomenal racing. It is hard to overtake though, it must be said. You really do have to work hard to get that overtake done. As we see the two Audis there just dive into the pits at the last moment for a fresh set of boots, ready for their second runs in qualifying. Yeah, so Zandvoort, it is tricky to overtake. You've got to work hard for it, but it's very much like a roller coaster. I feel like the first sector is just kind of on rails, just threading their car through the needles, through the corners, trying to carry that speed through as much as possible through those corners. So about 23 cars on grid tonight, split between the white number drivers of Pro and the red coloured AMs, and we have a 15-minute qualifying session which we have 7 minutes remaining, and then we have a 20-minute sprint with a 40-minute feature, and that 40-minute is where those tyres are going to be absolutely frying on that track with 42-degree track temp. Tyre life is going to be coming into question here, as we have the 909 of KM and Carnan coming across the line. Does he improve? He does not. And then we have the 323. Who is that? That is Call Me CJ. He does not improve either. And then we have the 134, and that is Captain, the championship contender, Jackie Bennett. Good evening, good luck tonight. Good evening, Jackie. Hope you're well, mate. In your home country tonight, Netherlands, shall I say. Technically correct term, the Netherlands. Hope you're doing well, Jackie. Good to see you on PC. So, track is optimum, and this is pretty much perfect conditions in terms of light and for the drivers. The temperatures are not ideal though. Those tyres will probably be overheating, so the drivers really do have to keep an eye on those pressures as the race quickly becomes right in front of them. And I'll make sure those tyres are spot on with these temps. They're very high. As Aldori doesn't improve that lap. We've got the number 41 of Cletus coming across the line. Does he improve? He does, but it's only good enough to improve one spot, and that is P11. Hottest weather in Holland. It is. It is a very, well, if you're talking about the server, then certainly. If you're talking about in reality, then I'll be interested to know what your temperatures are today, because in England today it is about 30 degrees, maybe probably a little bit less, 28 degrees. It's been a hot weekend in the UK, and things with the British, we moan when it rains and we moan when it's too hot, and it is absolutely roasting at the moment. If I told you I'm currently sat commentating shirtless, then I may be telling the truth. Not that you want that image of me talking to you right now shirtless, but you know, I'll leave that to your imagination of what that may look like. But anyway, back to the track. And currently Ahmed Aldori is still sitting on provisional pole, and here we are with MGK in the Ferrari. Now the Ferrari, he'll be looking to replicate the success of the 51 Ferrari today in Le Mans, managed to grab the 24-hour prestigious win in hypercar, beating Toyota for the first time in what, 50 years for Ferrari. So it's a very good day for Ferrari. He'll be looking to carry that tonight and try and get that Ferrari on pole, but it's currently on the front row anyway. P2, MGK. As we have the 326 of TCR coming across the line in the Bentley. I think one of only 2 Bentleys on track tonight. TCR does not improve. And then we have the 323 also coming across the line, which is CJ again. Call me CJ. Can he improve? He does not. And then we have the 909 of KM, Jackie's teammate, it must be said. Can he improve? He also does not improve, so whether the tyres are just starting to go off. But here comes Danny McCutcheon, currently second row of the grid, P4, quickest of the AMs thus far, 9/10 off pole. Can he improve? He does not. So we're not seeing many drivers improve their times on these runs. Missile Dog Shaft is about to come across the line as well in the second Bentley on the grid tonight. Does he improve? No. Triple Eight Anderson, does he improve? No. We're yet to see a driver in this last run of times improve their times. HB8 Gamer across the line, currently 2.1 off. He doesn't improve. Wow, these tyres must be really overheating for these drivers. MGK takes pole position. Wow, I've just missed that. Sorry, apologies. I've missed that on live on stream. But MGK has took provisional pole. 10th quicker than Aldori. Where is Aldori? Here he is. He's going to be the next man across the line. Has he found the pace on this lap? He's got to find at least a 10th to match MGK's with a 35.4. Ahmed Aldori, second in the pro category, challenging Morex, who currently sits third, challenging for the title. Can he improve? Can he take pole position? He does not, but he's got time for another lap. In fact, he may have time for another 2 laps if he's got the fuel. But oh, he's made contact. He's made contact. That could be Aldori's qualifying session done. It is. It is. That's Aldori done for the night, and that opens the door to Morex to try and sneak onto the front row. Not entirely sure what happened there, Aldori. Looked like he had a couple of traffic on the first corner, trying to get out of the way, and maybe he went a little bit deep and just got distracted by that traffic. But that is Ahmed Aldori's qualifying done for tonight. He is second row at best. In fact, he's trying to. I think he's trying to come back out. Actually, he is. He's back out on track to try and get round. I don't know if he's going to get round. Start a lap in time. He's got 1:05 to get round. We'll keep an eye on that, number 15. But here is Morex. The door is open for him to take a front row spot. He is currently 4/10 off pole row. MGK with a cracking time in that Ferrari. Ben Berryman is in the box. That's his qualifying done. Currently second in class. 4.23 is about to come across off Smithy. Does he improve? He doesn't, but here comes Morex. Morex does not. He does improve, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. He stays where he is, and that is Morex qualifying session done. Here comes Captain. Important qualifying for him. Can he improve? No, he doesn't. The Captain is under pressure. His championship rival is currently 4th on the grid. Second row for Danny McCutcheon. And Captain is all the way down in 11th, but more importantly 4th in class. So pressure on Captain to put for his championship hopes here. Where is Aldori? He's not managed to get round in time. So Aldori and Morex is done. MGK is still on track. Is anyone going to be close enough to challenge MGK? I don't think so. I think this Ferrari has cemented its pole position. He's going to come round now, MGK. He's going to even improve even further to put a nail in the coffin of everyone else qualifying here for pole position. He doesn't, but he's still on provisional pole. Here comes Missile Dogshaft. He doesn't improve. Here comes Adam Anderson. He's boxing, that's his qualifying over. Who else have we got to come across the line? We have the 808 of HB8 Gamer, currently occupying P14, 2.1 off the 10th. A little bit of a squirrely exit there with the Porsche. A little bit too much curve, quite a lot of curve there, and yeah, that's his lap done. He ain't going to be improving with taking that much curve. Here comes Cletus, quick driver on his day in the BMW. P12 currently, doesn't improve. And then we have Andy Winters, and he is off out the last corner. That won't be a quick time for him. Here Captain, so Captain actually managed to get one more lap in. I said he's under pressure. What can he do? He's currently P11. He needs to really try and get... No, that's him done. That's him doing his best. Well, that's a very smashed up Audi as he comes across the line. Maybe a little bit of frustration there from Captain. So, anyway, pole position goes to MGK in the Ferrari. Ferrari taking the win today at Le Mans. and it's taking pole position here for FRL in the PureSimGear Super Sprint Sunday at round 9 Zandvoort. 1:35.4, 10th quicker than Aldori and 4/10 quicker than Morex. But that is the battle to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Morex and Aldori, the championship contenders in pro category, and Danny McCutcheon leading the AM category on the second row, and his championship rival Captain is all the way down in P11 but 4th in class, so Captain's got some work to do. He's got to at least get on the podium in class to keep the pressure on McCutcheon heading in to the feature race, but also into the final round next week if he wants to try and take that championship. So let's give you a full rundown just before we start the survey reset. So as I said, MGK pole position, Aldori P2, Morex P3, Danny McCutcheon P4, Missile Dogshaft 5th, Moggs 6th, Ben Berryman 7th, Adam Anderson 8th, Daniel Naisbitt 9th, Ikanen 10th, Captain 11th, Cletus 12th, Gedman 13th, HP8 Gamer 14th, Clark 15th, Corby CJ 16th, Trotty 17th, TCR 18th, Smithy 19th, Andy Winters P20, KY 21st, Lego 22nd, and Chris Knight AMR Vantage 23rd. We have Frank 24th. And why is Gedman showing twice? I'm not too sure, but Gedman is definitely P13. I believe Vantage and Frank may have qualifying bans. Apologies for not knowing that factually. I have a feeling they're potentially serving a qualifying ban there, hence why the two pro drivers are at the bottom of the grid. But keep an eye out for them, especially Frank. Frank is an extremely quick driver on his day, and he could be quickly coming through this field, but it is not as easy as that. As I said earlier on in stream, Zandvoort is an extremely hard track to overtake. You really do have to have quite a pace advantage over the car in front to overtake. So that is your qualifying, and we're about 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes away from the beginning of the 20-minute sprint race. So I'm just going to go grab a quick refreshment, and I'll be back with you in about 30 to 60 seconds.
20 seconds.
Okay, here we go. This is the start of the formation lap for race 1 here at Zandvoort for round 9 of the Formula Racing League PureSimGear Super Sprint Sunday, and MGK leads the field away. As I said, temperatures are extremely hot. We've got pure sunshine here at Zandvoort, not a cloud in the sky. Drivers already commenting on Discord during the quality session that their tyres are overheating, so that 40-minute race, well, I mean, even in a 20-minute race in this race here, it's going to be challenging, but that 40-minute race, well, it's going to be all about tyre life. Who can keep the tyres in the right window for the longest? I'm going to open those brake ducts up and get as much air as possible. Just try and look at the driving style a little bit, try and be a little bit conservative, don't push them too early on in the race. We have 23 drivers here around the roller coaster track of Zandvoort. Lap 1 could be a bit tricky given limited space, so hopefully everyone does get around nice and safely. So if you're watching live, guys, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Do whack that subscribe button for more future live streaming from FRL. I will talk to you a little bit about what is coming up on FRL over the next few weeks. At the halfway point after this race, we've got some big events and races coming your way. So with the helicam now, the drivers just start heading into their 2x2 formation. At this point they'll be making sure they're in the right line, not going too quick either, as the speed limit will be in place before they start. If the drivers do exceed that speed limit, a drive-through penalty will be slapped onto their car. We have the Aldori there, the number 15 AMG Mercedes at the bottom of your screen. He is the championship contender in Pro category. He's grid spots ahead of his championship rival of Aldori, and he is the number 15 Audi, the yellow and black Audi to the right. So he's got the inside line, so Aldori will be very keen to stay ahead of Morex, and then the Aston Martin of Danny McCutcheon. So we're about to go green for round 9, and we are green, we're away. And Morex has got an absolute great start. He's now the inside of Aldori in the slipstream of MGK, but he backs out a little bit. Aldori on the outside, MGK's quite conservative on the brakes, but he's still got the inside line. Danny McCutcheon's lost a few places as well. That looks like his missile dog shaft has got ahead of him before. The side-by-side Aldori, MGK, and the outside of the two. Great contact. Aldori's now got the inside to the left-hander, and that is Aldori up into the lead of the race. What an absolutely fantastic start for Aldori and MGK. Great racing. Aldori leads, MGK second, Morex is third. Mr. Dogshaft has got ahead of Danny McCutcheon on the grid, and I think Moggs has also got ahead of McCutcheon. So McCutcheon, quite a conservative start, losing a couple of places, but it's quite wise. He is in a different category, he doesn't need to be back than these guys. But so far, I think most of the field has got away quite cleanly. I'm just going through now. Gedman's P13, Andy Winters 14, TTR 50, Corey CJ, HBH, Smithy, KY, Frank. I think everyone's got away. We've not got a single yellow flag out on the track. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. But it's what we want to see. So Aldori leads the field. And this, I think we're going to see quite a lot of drivers just instantly fall into a tyre saving pattern. As Missile Dogshaft just has a quick sneaky look up the inside of Moritz, but Moritz will not be phased by that. But Dogshaft could be a little close here. Oh, we do have a car in the pit lane. I beg your pardon, we do have Lego. Lego is in the pit lane, not sure what happened to him, as we've got an Audi and the background going off, but managing to keep it on track. But it's all fairly pedestrian and clean from the majority of people, as we see Ben Berryman a little wide in Captain. He's got a bit of a scrap now, got Captain and Cletus, Ben Berryman, KM. So Captain has managed to get up to third, so he's managed to get past KM on the start. He's up to third in class, but he's got Ben Berryman ahead of him, Cletus behind, KM, Gedman's lost a couple of places. He was P11 on the grid, I believe. He's now P13, or I could have been mistaken, he could have started P13, I can't quite remember, but Gedman's still there anyway. But it's all very clean racing so far. We've not had any major incidents or yellow flags yet. And Aldori with an absolute cracking start. Him and MGK side by side, really clean racing. That is exactly what we want to see on Formula Racing League PlayStation 5. Good competitive hard racing between drivers, quick drivers and the start of the race. And this is what we want to see with just clean lap one, letting everyone settle down into their race pace. And this is where we're going to have tyre management starting to come into it. It's going to be almost a little bit like a Formula 1 race, with drivers just instantly going into tyre management phases, given how hot it is. The track temp has come down ever so slightly, but it is still ridiculously high, 40 degrees track temp. Those eggs are still very much cooking on that track surface. So field is still quite compact at the moment. Moritz is the quickest man on track with the purple lap so far, but it's only lap 2. Daniel McCutcheon has got Naisbitt behind, his teammate. He's under pressure from his teammate, Van Anderson, all from the same racing team, T1SR. McCutcheon, Naisbitt, Anderson, Berryman and Captain. We have 5 T1SR drivers in a row, maybe 6. I believe Moggs is also part of T1SR, he is, hence the colour scheme. So you have 6 T1SR drivers all in a row, dominating the field. So they'll all be very competitive against each other at this stage of the race. Captain still holding on to P10, Cletus quite not far behind. And who do we have? So Lego has still stayed in the pits, not sure what happened to him at the start. Smithy is the last man on track. Frank has not really gained that many positions, given the fact that he was, well, he's a quick driver, but as I said, overtaking is extremely hard here. And Trotty, I think Trotty's had probably the worst start of them all. He's down in 20th, and not sure what happened to him at the start, but I'm pretty sure he was a lot higher up the grid than what he currently is. So Trotty is one of the bigger losers out from that start, as we've got Smithy off again, I believe. Oh, it's going a bit slow. It looks like that Porsche had quite a bit of contact as well, actually. MGK, half a second gap to Aldori, and we've got a developing three-way battle here. I think they're just starting, these three guys, just starting to ever so slightly creep away from Missile Dogshaft. MGK is looking very racy here in that Ferrari. Aldori is certainly not speeding off into the sunset, is he? And Moritz is firmly keeping tabs to those two. Let's go on board with some of these drivers. Let's go on board with Moritz, our championship leader in pro category. MGK looking very close to Aldori up ahead. Let's go on board with MGK. Here he is in the Ferrari. problem for MGK is it ain't really going to make much difference on the straight. The straight's not massively long here, and with that Mercedes is no slouch in a straight line, so MGK is going to be looking at the back of that Mercedes for quite a while, I think. Aldori's just got to really keep his lines, keep his braking points, and not be pressured by MGK. Because I'm going to keep saying it, the overtaking here is ridiculously hard. You really do have to have quite a pace advantage or a mistake from the driver ahead. Sniff of overtaking. But we are quickly seeing a three-way battle here for the lead, because they are dropping Missile Dogshaft even more. 2.2 now is the gap from Morex to Missile Dogshaft to 32 Bentley, so this is very much a three-way battle for the race lead here. And this is just a sprint race, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Aldori's wide! Aldori's off! Aldori's off! He's made contact with the barrier! Deary me! Aldori is off! He's rejoining the track now! What was I saying? What, 30 seconds ago? What was I saying, guys? Just got to keep it clean, keep it on track. The only way you can overtake here is if you've got a massive pace advantage or the driver ahead of you makes a mistake, and that is exactly what Ahmed Aldori in the number 15 AMG Mercedes has done. Off the track, and he's down to 5th. That is a dint in his championship hopes, as his championship rival and the championship leader Morex goes up to P2, and now he has got the Ferrari of MGK in his sights. We've gone from a three-way battle to a two-way battle for the lead now. Morex 4/10 quicker on that last lap, and he's a lot later on the brakes here compared to MGK and the Ferrari. Let's stay on board with him for the moment. So MGK's turned from the hunter to the hunted. Speed of that Audi and that slipstream is close here, Morex, but there isn't much overtaking opportunity on this next set of corners. It's this middle sector where you can potentially send it up the inside if you're close enough. Ferrari just good traction at that last corner. Got to keep it clear. This is the middle sector what I'm talking about, the slow corners. You've got to, this corner here, you can send it up the inside. It's quite a wide entry. You can, there's a bit of a false sense of opportunity. Drivers can send it at the inside there, thinking they've got a gap, because it is like a late wide apex into that corner. And it's pretty much single file all the way through this next part with the chicane right and left. Don't touch that curve on the inside, it will unsettle the car. And this corner here is very important. It's all about getting the exit out of this corner onto the start finish straight, and that is what MGK has done. He's negotiated that very cleanly. Morex won't be making any moves. Let's just look at the lap times as they come across the line. So MGK goes a 1:36.3, Morex a 1:36.4. Oh, he's late on the brakes. Morex has had to get out of the throttle. Where is Dogshaft? He's not close enough to capitalise on that. So we saw it on the last lap with Morex is a lot later on the brakes compared to MGK, and that completely caught him out there, having to get out the throttle and almost running wide. So let's just summarise where we are. MGK leads, Morex is P2, Missile Dogshaft P3, Moggs is 4th, Aldori is 5th after making that mistake a couple of laps ago, dropping 3 places. Daniel McCutcheon still leads AM class, P6 overall. Daniel Naisbitt is 7th, and Captain has now got up to P8 and 2nd in class. So this is exactly what he needed to do. But he is 4 seconds behind now, Naisbitt. So he's a little bit of no man's land. He's 4 seconds up the road from Naisbitt, and he's 3 seconds clear of Gedman. So who made a mistake then? Who went wide? It must have been Anderson and Berryman must have made mistakes. They've dropped behind Gedman. So Gedman moved up to P9. He's making good progress. As we see, Berryman and, is that Anderson? No, it's Berryman and KM. Maikainen. Very close there. Berryman's challenging Anderson as well. Well, Anderson's challenging Gedman. We'll get the drivers right. So very close battle here developing. Jackie Van commenting, how are my teammates doing? O'Kine and Gedman. So KM is currently P12, Gedman is P9, and Clark, well, Clark is down in 14th. So not the best race for Clark at the moment. He's a lot quicker than what he's currently demonstrating, but he's currently stuck behind Call Me CJ. So it's very important for his race that he gets past CJ, because he's got quite a lot of clean air. Up ahead, oh, we've got a spinner! I think that's Anderson. Anderson is off. The 888 Porsche is off at turn 1. So Berryman go through, KM go through, they're up to P11. So not sure what happened there, not sure if there was contact between the two drivers. But it's Anderson falling back. But the grass cutter Gedman certainly is flying. He's certainly, there isn't much grass to cut around here. There's a lot more sand than grass to cut around here. But Gedman is flying, but he's under pressure from Ben Berryman. That Porsche around here will be quite quick. The car will be suited to this type of circuit. But KM is also looking quite racy behind, as the two Porsche, the BMW and the Audi. We've got 3 manufacturers going head to head here for the battle for P9. Let's go on board with these guys. Let's get some on board shots of this battle. So we're on board with KM, the 909 Audi. Got the 518 Porsche, Ben Berryman up ahead, and Chris Gedman, the BMW in P9. Oh, apologies, I completely pressed the wrong button there. As we see, KM almost touching the rear of Ben Berryman. But we're just seeing how hard it is to overtake it. It really is single file through a lot of Zandvoort. Gedman, not the greatest exit from that BMW. Early upshift from Berryman just to try and tame that Porsche on traction. And another early upshift second. He looks close here. This is where if you can get a run on a driver, you can send it at the inside going into the chicane, but it's not going to be close enough this time round as he eases off onto the brakes. Still piling that pressure on Chris Gedman. This was the battle for 3rd place in class. But out in front, MGK still leads, Moore 2nd, Mr. Dogshaft 3rd, Moggs 4th, Aldori 5th, McCutcheon 6th, Naisbitt 7th, Captain 8th, Gedman 9th, Berryman 10th, KM 11th, Call Me CJ is still holding off Clark, who occupies P13, HP8 Gamer 14th, Frank is up to 15th now, so a bit better recovery from him. Andy Winter 16th, TCR 17th, Trotty 18th, he's got KY behind him in 19th. Adam Anderson is now all the way down in P20, really not sure what's happening here. Well, look at this, Smithy and Cletus, now here's another driver who was up, battling at the top, and there was contact between the two drivers. Not really sure what happened there. Cletus had the inside line. It looked like Smithy was just turning on him a little bit, but wasn't the greatest angle. But Cletus goes up to 21st, and Lego, who did not get started at all in this race, occupies P23. Just having a quick look at Moggs and Missile Dogshaft. The battle for the final podium position in Pro category is heating up, just like the track here. 33 degrees ambient, 40 track, and this battle is heating up likewise. Moggs pulling the pressure on that Bentley, aiming to get 2 Ferraris on the podium in Pro category. So we've got a 888 car yellow flags out. I think that is Adam Anderson. Adam Anderson, yet again, having excursions off the track tonight. Now dropped down to P at last. 22nd place for Adam Anderson. Back with Chris Gedman. Still under pressure from Berryman. KM follows. Three minutes remaining of this sprint race. And I must say, it's been a good race from people. There's not had no major incidents. Majority of drivers are still running. But we are witnessing what I predicted, just an extremely hard track to overtake. When it comes to races where there is no pit stop, there is just no strategy. You can just unfortunately be stuck behind drivers. Whereas if you've got a pit stop, there can strategy, undercuts and overcuts can come into it. But tonight there is no pit stop, so it's just a straight battle of pace. As we see KM spinning that Audi, let's get a better camera shot. Oh, that's unfortunate for him. He really was keeping touch, keeping base with Gedman and Berryman, but he just dipped the left side tyres onto that grass and around the Audi went. That's unfortunate. That's going to be pretty much his battle done for this race. He's got to set up for P11. Berryman still looking to put that pressure on Chris Gedman. And the lead in front, MGK, is extended to 2.2 seconds now. So MGK looking to control the final 2 minutes of the sprint race. But Berryman is very close this lap. Is he going to make a move up the inside on Chris Gedman? This is the battle for third in class. No, he doesn't. Gedman goes to shut the door on the inside and Berryman just has to kind of pull him behind. But this is the battle we want to see on track. This is the closest battle on track. The battle for third place in class and category. Let's just go on board with Ben Berryman to see how he's doing. If we now have only 50 seconds of this race. I'm going to get one more lap, I believe. There we go, leader is on its final lap, so Ben Berryman has got one more lap to try and get past that BMW, but he won't be doing it like that. Not the most optimum way through the chicane though. Berryman's just got to keep it neat and tidy, and he will get third place in category. Here is your race leader with a gap of 2 seconds to Morex. He has been absolutely on fire since capitalising on that mistake from Ahmed Al-Douri. He is a couple of corners away from taking the sprint race victory here, the Ferrari. MGK is going to be your race 1 winner here at round 9 Zandvoort for Formula Racing League. MGK takes the checker flag and he is your race winner. Moritz comes home in P2. Mr. Dogshaft survives the late pressure from Moggs, takes P3, Moggs P4. Al-Douri, disappointed with his mistake, will be home in 5th. Danny McCutcheon takes the AM category race win, P6 overall. Cracking drive from Danny there. Dan Naisbitt coming home in P6 class, P7 overall. Captain in second for AM, 8th overall. Gedman survives the late pressure from Ben Berryman. Cracking battle between those two drivers. Takes P9 and third in class. Ben Berryman 4th, P10 overall. KM 11th. Clark managed to get past CJ in the end and come home in 12th. CJ 13th. HB8 Gamer will be coming across the line in P14. Frank from back of the grid up to 15th. That's a good recovery from him. Andy Winters 16th. TCR 17th. Trotty rounding the final corner home in 18th. Sorry, Cletus is 18th. Not sure what happened there. Trotty across the line in 20th. Adam Anderson, disappointing race for him in 21st. And then Smithy's off the track at the last corner and he won't actually get across the finish line. Well, yes, he has. He has put the checkered flag 22nd. So, wow, that is race one. We saw quite a few things come to life there, which was difficult to overtake and not making mistakes. Unfortunately, Ahmed Al-Douri did not follow the second point there of not making a mistake. But either way, he's got 40 minutes to correct that to get his championship title charge back on track. So, I'm just going to go offline for 30 to 60 seconds and I'll be back with you shortly as we get ready for the 60-minute feature race here, where time management is going to be very much important with a track temperature of 40 degrees. So I'll catch you in a short moment. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're about a minute away from starting the formation lap for the feature race. I think we're going to get a bit of a rematch between the likes of MGK, Aldori, Morex, and there's a few of the battles that I'll be looking for round 2 on track, such as Gedman and Berryman. Gedman certainly had a strong performance from P13 up into P9, I believe he finished. We're looking to replicate that, and Aldori will be looking to replicate his start, leading MGK, taking that lead for the race lead on lap 1 after the first few corners. However, he won't be looking to replicate his mistake he made, dipping the tyres onto that grass and going off and losing the lead of the race, and ended up finishing P5. But track temp has just dipped ever so slightly again. It's now down to 38, but those tyres will still very much be cooking away, so it's all about preserving the life of those tyres as MGK is starting to lead the field away. Can he do what a few others have done so far this season, have double race wins? Always a great feeling. Winning race 1, well, starting pole position, winning race 1, winning race 2, that is a perfectionist weekend. So he'll be looking to do that, but he's going to have competition from Aldori and Morex if he wants that double race win tonight. McCutcheon will be looking to have pretty much one hand firmly on that championship trophy if he can come away with the category and class win in race 2. It will take something quite big in the season finale next week for McCutcheon to lose the championship, I think. Likewise for Morex. The championships won't be decided tonight. They will be decided as the checkered flag falls next week. So Lego has got underway. I believe actually it was a thunderstorm issue caused his internet to drop out in the last race. We have got quite bad thunderstorms sweeping across from east to west in the UK currently. Not where I am, I think they're just about avoided where I am in the Midlands in the UK, but west side of the country, the UK, is currently experiencing quite bad thunderstorms, and Lego must be that way. The West Midlands mainly currently getting absolutely pelted by some June hot weather thunderstorms. And it looks like Smithy is in the pits, whether that's an issue not clicking driving time or a game bug, but Smithy will be starting from the pit lane. But either way, the drivers line up into their 2x2 Noah's Ark formations. Dan Naisbitt in the background there, the Lamborghini just waving to try and get that extra more pressures in. I don't think you need to do that much time with them, Dan. The tyres are going to be warm enough. Let's go on board with the helicam for the perfect view of the race start. Last time out we saw Morex got an absolute cracking start compared to Aldori, but he was quite conservative going into the braking zone. And then we saw Aldori and MGK side by side for a good few corners until eventually Aldori got round the left-hander and into the lead, and we are green, and this time Aldori has got a lot better start. He's even closer to MGK. They're going to be side by side, but look at that, Morex in the slipstream, but again backing out on the brakes early. We've got Dan Naisbitt at the inside, there's contact, there's 4 wide, in back there, there's 4 wide. I don't know who that was, I think that was Moggs, Berryman, Anderson, Naisbitt, but MGK still leads. Aldori second, Morex third, McCutcheon fourth, Dogshaw fifth, Moggs sixth. I think there's Anderson gone wide, I think there's a triple eight of Anderson gone a little bit wide, and he's going to lead up to Moggs. Anderson's on the inside, then Berryman's back there. And I think there is still no yellow flags. We've got another team start. That is exactly what we want to see here at Zandvoort. no yellow flags. But let's just go to the front of the grid. Oh, I've lost where I was. Apologies. Let's go. MGK. There he is. Here he is. MGK, the race leader on lap 1. So we've got a different race order as we did compared to the sprint race. MGK leads, Aldori second, Morex third. And already these three have got quite a big lead. 6 tenths to McCutcheon, and McCutcheon is side by side with Mr. Dogshaft. They make a little bit of contact there. They're going to go side by side into the chicane. Who is going to have the inside line? Mr. Dogshaft has got the move done. He's up into P4. And McCutcheon's now got Naisbitt. Naisbitt. Oh, there's contact between Naisbitt, Moggs and Naisbitt. Then he collects Anderson. Oh, I think they managed to keep it on track. Naisbitt has managed to keep it on track. We've now got Moggs, Anderson, the captain. Captain is going to be really careful. He's got his championship on the line here. He's second in category. He's got to keep this clean. He's got to not get tangled up in the battle of Anderson and Moggs. He's going to go to the inside of that Porsche, on turn 1, onto the brakes. And Captain, does he get a move? And he doesn't, no. Anderson keeps it on the outside. And I think that Porsche is just going to have enough traction to stay ahead into P8. With a competitive start throughout the grid. And Frank is already up to P16 after 1 lap. That is a cracking start from Frank in the McLaren. As we see the car. So MGK leads, Aldori, Morex and Aldori are quite close together this lap. MGK just extending that lead to about second on lap 2. But it's good to see the majority of the field going round in one piece. It's been really good clean racing tonight from everyone so far. Well, this is where we see the drivers settling into their tyre management phase. It really is about protecting those tyres, because the last 15 minutes of this race, them tyres could just go off the cliff with these temperatures. But Morex is very close to his championship contender here. Let's go on board with him. Having a look to the inside, not close enough to get the move done. He's got a great view of that CrowdStrike AMG Mercedes, sponsored by Fanatec. As Aldor goes a little bit deep into that corner, but that's not necessarily the slower line. There's a couple of different lines you can take into that corner. But what is that straight line speed now between the two manufacturers of Mercedes and Audi? There's just no overtaking opportunities around here. A single file through this right-hander. If you are close enough in this coming corners, you can potentially make a move. We've got a yellow flag. We'll have a look to see who that is for in a moment. It's 423. I think that's Smithy. Yeah, he is to the right. He's out of the way of the leaders. Just making sure everyone is getting out of the way. Yeah. Good evening, Ben. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're enjoying the hot weather this weekend. Not too sunburned. He's just joined at a time where Aldori is under quite a lot of pressure. He certainly will be feeling the heat from Morex, not just from the hot temperatures this weekend. We've got a three-way battle here, a clear three-way battle developing after only 3 laps. MGK leads, 7 tenths lead to Aldori, Morex in third, and they're quickly dropping Mr. Dogshaft, the 32 Bentley. And then just switching our attention to the AM category ever so quickly, McCutcheon is in a very commanding position in the championship, but also in this race. P5 overall, but first in category. Cletus is P2, and Chris Gedman is making a little bit of a habit of coming third in class. He still occupies P10 overall, but third in class, but he's got HP and Gamer in the Porsche just under a second behind. Andy Winters up to P12. I believe he's one of the newer drivers on the grid tonight, Andy Winters, and so far he's having a good debut up into P12, but we are only 6 minutes into this race, and he's under increasing pressure from Ben Berryman, who we saw was stuck behind Chris Gedman for pretty much 18 minutes off the sprint race. He will not want to be stuck behind another car for that 34 minutes, so he's got to get past Andy Winters quite quickly if he wants to improve his finishing result. Ben Berryman, he's got the quite quick Clark behind him. And Ben just commented on the stream there that the Merc is eating the left tyres. I mean, that is pretty much... Oh, apologies, we've just missed an overtake there. Moritz is through. So Moritz is through up into P2, and Aldori is now in 3rd place. So that is quite a pivotal moment in the championship. But no matter the finishing order here, either 2nd or 3rd for Aldori, the championship won't be decided. He will still have an opportunity going into the final round to challenge Moritz, but it will be ever so hard for him. What he really needs is that Audi to go spinning off to increase his championship hopes. It was a 22-point lead heading into this weekend. And that will be increasing if the results stay as they are. Sorry, what was I saying? So Benio commented on the stream saying that the Mercedes was killing the front left tyres, and that is going to be a huge aspect of this race. As I was saying at the start of the stream, 32 air and 37 track. It was 42 track during qualifying, but it has dipped slightly to 37, but that is still an extremely high temperature for the tyres to last, especially around Zandvoort. It's a very twisty circuit. Certain cars will be harder on its tyres compared to others. And the battle with these two is just helping MGK, because his lead has now gone to 1.4 seconds. It was 9/10 the lap previous, so he'll be happy to see those two squabbling away. Mr. Dogshaft just ever so slightly trying to hang on to the front runners, but I think overall his race pace isn't as quick as the front three. So he's got to watch out for McCutcheon, but McCutcheon won't really want to be battling him. He'll just be happy sitting away, lapping in the current order. And look at this battle. Naisbitt, Moggs and Anderson, yet again T1SR drivers occupying 6th, 7th and 8th in the grid, as Moggs has a sneaky look up the inside of that Lamborghini. Likewise we see Cletus having a quick look at the inside of that Porsche. But three-way battle between T1SR drivers here. Four-way battle if you're including Cletus. He's looking very racy behind that Porsche in P9. Let's get on board with these guys actually, give us some more on board action. On board with the 888 Porsche of Adam Anderson. We saw Moggs and Naisbitt having contact on lap 1, but luckily for both of them it didn't jeopardise any of their positions, so just a little bit of a love tap between the Ferrari and Lambo. As you see, the Ferrari is much better through this section compared to the Lambo. Dan Naisbitt just struggling there. This is going to give an opportunity to Moggs to send it up the inside and go into the Shingy. He's not close enough for his calm round. He's got to keep it close through this section. Potentially have a run down the start finish straight. A little bit sideways there from the Lamborghini. Yeah, Ferrari in a straight line there, just don't think he's going to be able to challenge that Lamborghini in a straight there. That Lambo is a bit of a rocket ship. Oh, Naisbitt's got a little bit deep, but he manages to still hook it up. What's the gap out in front now? So Moritz just brought that gap down a few tenths. It was 1.3, 1.4. It's now down to 8 tenths. That Audi, he's looking mighty quick, Moritz. Tyres just might be behaving a little bit better on that Audi compared to the Mercedes and Ferrari. Audi Evo is a strong car. popular choice amongst a lot of drivers. But that is the beauty of GT racing. Some tracks just suit better cars, or certain cars shall I say. It's very much like a rock, paper, scissors a lot of the time. But look at this gap is really closed now. Morex is absolutely flying. He's closed right up to the rear of that Ferrari. And MGK's hopes of a P1 qualifying and a double race win is quickly under threat because Morex from Portugal is a man on a mission. He's got the purple lap. He's about to cross the line, only 4 tenths off. And they're just starting to drop Aldori a little bit as well. Aldori will be hoping just to try and close the gap a little bit. Be close enough to pounce on any mistake, any bit of contact between these two guys. Let's have a quick look at Moggs, because he is still battling away with his fellow T1SR teammate, and he's got Adam Anderson right behind him as well. Cletus just watching afar. Battle for P6, P7, P8. Impressive pace from Cletus, because these three drivers are technically pro drivers compared to him who's in that AM category. The fact that he's managing to keep up with these guys. It's impressive pace from Cletus in the BMW. As Moggs is very close now to Naisbitt. He'll contact earlier on. He'll be hoping to avoid it again. But I think Dan Naisbitt is feeling the pressure as we see Anderson. There's contact between Adam Anderson and Moggs. Cletus has had to take avoiding action. I don't know if he managed to keep it out of the barrier. And then there's contact with Gedman. I think Moggs potentially, that was very borderline, unsafe rejoin. He was too keen to get that car. Spun back on the track and there was a very light love tap with him and Gedman. Gedman has just got the knack though, and he's back up to P8 overall, Chris Gedman. I think he's managed to get away with that quite considerably. But Ben Berryman, not Ben Berryman, beg your pardon, Moggs and Anderson, contact between the two. And that is what that middle sector can do. With the late apexes, it can give you a very false hope that there is a gap up the inside of a driver. And Anderson looked like he just had to put his front axle on the inside of Moggs. Moggs turns in, and there you go. Moggs is pulling to the inside now. Whether he's letting him go, he is. He's letting him go. Anderson moves up to P13. But I think the stewards could well be interested in the Ferrari there. It looked like it was a bit of a hasty 360 to get the car spinning back in the right direction, because he did collect Gedman. I have to see that the stewards will have to review that, because at the same time the other flags are out, so drivers should be slowing as well. So it's not always one driver's fault. It's very much a two-way thing. It takes two to tango. You've got to safely rejoin, but you've also got to slow down as well for yellow flags. That's what they're there for. But anyway, back onto the track, and Morex has just dropped back from MGK as we saw on the last lap. The gap's now 1.8. That's just brought it back into play with Aldori. So whether that Audi is just starting to experience a little bit of tyre heat, tyre wear, or not wear as such, but overheating, shall I say. I don't know whether it could have made a mistake on that last lap. Aldori just within a sniff of Morex. The gap is starting to stabilise. This old dog shaft is very much in the no man's land here. 2.6 seconds off Aldori, and just a few tenths off per lap their race pace. McCutcheon's even further back, 5.3. He very much is a man in the middle of nowhere. 5.3 from this old dog shaft and 5.3 ahead of Dan Naisbitt. Dan Naisbitt now got the breathing room though. He had Moggs breathing down his neck, getting sunburn. He was breathing down his neck that heavily. He is now comfortably in P6, P5 in class. Cletus 7th, Gedman 8th, 3rd in class, Berryman 9th, Clark 10th, HB8 Gamer 11th, HB8 Gamer 11th, HB8 Gamer also in the barrier. Now that is not what we want to see, but what we do want to see is him safely parking the car and not rejoining at a dangerous time. So let's just see what he does here. Let's get on board with the helicam. He's trying to rejoin in a bit of a safer way. That's good driving and track awareness from HP8 Gamer. Hats off to you, not just getting the car back onto the track into incoming traffic. Fair play. I do applaud that. He's now going to have the KY. This is going to be interesting. What's he going to do here? He's going to have a look at the inside. He's not. But look at the field spread, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just bring up the radar a little bit closer for you. Look at the field spread already. Almost halfway into this race, and we've got the front three very much steaming away compared to the rest of the field. You can just see how much no man's land Daniel McCutcheon is in. Naisbitt, Cletus, they're very much running on their own at the moment, and then you have a squaggle of cars here, Gedman, Berryman, Clark. Will be interesting to see how Zandvoort develops on Tuesday night on the tacos. The strategy is probably the biggest part of a race at Zandvoort, and with tacos you've got the opportunity to under and overcut people. Yes, Gedman, I think he was just put off by that little bit of a false move at the inside from Ben Berryman, but it's not compromised his exit. That BMW is such a stable car. He's just managed to get in the lines and the braking points just right, Gedman, just to stay a whisker ahead of Ben Berryman. So let's have a look at the battle for the lead. Gap was 1.4, 1.6, that's just come down back again. Looks like Moritz is just starting to turn the screw again on MGK. It's now down to 8/10. He's just dropped Aldori a little bit as well. So Moritz certainly is turning that screw again. Gap looks closer than 8/10 now. It looks more like 4/10. We'll see as they come across this next timing line. That looks like more of a 4 to 5/10 gap, this does. Let's see, we're coming across the timeline now. 7/10, I'm talking completely rubbish. Visually it looked a lot closer. Clearly not. But a very strong showing here from these drivers. Pace compared to the rest of the field, isn't they're in a league of their own. MGK so far is doing what he needs to do to secure a double race win here at Zandvoort. He's got 20 minutes remaining. We're only just about to cross the halfway mark in this race as MGK just dips the tyres ever so slightly on that grass. That's going to compromise his exit speed onto this straight. Can Moritz close up now? He is. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We could be witnessing a battle for the lead change here. That minor mistake from MGK has just really put him under pressure now from that Audi. That Audi doesn't look like it's been having any issues with its tyres. The track temp has dipped again. It's now down to 36. So it was 42. It's now down to 36. So it is coming down, but those tyres will be screaming still. MGK is driving a great race here. Even with that mistake, he's still putting that car where he needs to do. So onto the start finish straight they do. We look like we got Trotty and the Aston Martin coming into the pits there. It is Trotty, and I think he's retiring for the race. Let's just have a quick look at Cletus because he's very close to Dan Naisbitt. This is the battle for P6 overall. Cletus in the AM category though, Naisbitt in Pro. Here's a look to the inside. It's not going to be close enough to make a move there. Let's have a very quick look at Gedman as well, because Berryman is even closer. Gedman has a quick switch to the inside to try and defend that line. Clark is following these two. Just having a quick look at towards the rear of the grid, because there's a battle developing here for P18. Andy Winters is under some considerable pressure from Lego. I believe these two are the rookie drivers in FRL. I think they're some of the newest drivers in. Oh, we've got a Porsche in the barrier, big hit, and that has really distracted Lego. Lego's hit the wall. He's got significant damage. That's going to open the wall to KY. Who was that? Was that Anderson? No, it wasn't. Who was that in the barrier? HP8 Gamer. HP8 Gamer, who was running quite high up in the field, and a huge incident. The Porsche was airborne for a very brief moment, but that must have distracted Lego because he hit the barrier at quite considerable speed, and now he's all over the track now. He's got to be careful because he's got KY behind. And that was a battle developing with him and Andy Winters. Look at this, back to the front. We've gone from the rear down to the front. Look at this, 2 tenths, 3 tenths between MGK and Morex. That Audi's absolutely flying. Here we go. Could we see a little bit of a move up the inside? $60 minutes for MGK to hold on here, but he will be under so much pressure. He'll be seeing that Audi in the rear view mirror. Now Dory is just doing his best to try and cling on to these two. He really needs Morex and MGK to swabble away to try and close that gap. 2.4 now to the front two. Now that Merc will be hurting its tyres though. Naisbitt and Cletus still battling away. We've got quite a field spread now between a lot of the drivers. We've got 4 cars into the pits. 5 are Anderson, Trotty, Moggs, HP8 Gamer and Lego all in the pits, and all early retirees from this race. As we see Cletus having a look at the inside of Daniel Naisbitt, he's not close enough to make a move there. Gedman and Berryman. Gedman's got enough of a gap there to withstand any challenge on this lap, on this straight. Morex just going a little bit wide there, kicking up the dust on the left hand side of the tyres. He's on the limit here, Morex. You'll see how close he was there to the grass on that corner as well. And they are actually coming up to traffic. He's, I don't know how, probably a 10-second gap maybe. He's got the number 19 of KY up ahead, MGK. And I think at this rate they're going to catch him. And that could must be difficult to navigate traffic on this track. We have a stop-go penalty for HB8 Gamer. That will be speeding in the pit lane, I believe. So he's 17th, he's got KY behind him, 19th still running. Berryman and Gedman very close. Closest cars on track at the moment. Got a humongous field spread, really is, the field is very spread out. Pockets of cars and battles throughout the grid, but very spread out after only 25 minutes of racing. Berryman looks close here though. He's in the slipstream of that BMW. As we see Clark in the background also boxing. That is interesting. Why is Clark boxing there? He's running P10. So what's happened to Clark? He doesn't look like he's got that damage on that BMW. So whether it's an issue with fuel or tyres? That is interesting. I'm not sure what's happened to Clark there. What that done though? Well, for a start, that's moved Frank up to P10. Oh, we've got more stop-go penalties. Andy Winters, 30 seconds, and TCR. So we're seeing the more inexperienced drivers on the grid pick up the 30-second stop-go penalties. That's just going to displace these drivers even more on track. Just looking at Captain as well, he really is struggling. He's down 6th in class. Danny McCutcheon is in the absolute perfect opportunity. He's pretty much got both hands on that championship title win heading into the final round. It won't be done though tonight. He will still have to get the job done next week. He'll be extending his championship lead at this rate with Captain all the way down on 6th place in class. Gap in front though, it's just increased yet again. Audi is going through another phase of tyre management, trying to control those temperatures. It's 1.7 now. MGK, I mean, I've been quite complimentary of that Audi, saying it looks absolutely quick, but also let's not forget the job MGK is doing here. He's holding off the pressure. He's not really put a foot wrong. Had a slight mistake a few laps ago, but apart from that, it's been an absolute sublime performance from him thus far. He's got 11 minutes to go to cap off a potential double race victory here. Let's just have a quick look at the 518 Porsche, because Ben Berryman is still stuck behind Chris Gedman. Gedman last race, this is a rematch. We saw these two battling away in the sprint race in race 1. Gedman holding on to 3rd in category in class. And we've got deja vu here. Ben Berryman stuck behind Chris Gedman. 11 minutes remaining. Oh, Gedman's gone a little bit wide, I think. Oh, hang on, what's happening here? Berryman's on the outside, Gedman's got the inside. This is important. This is a big moment in this racing and category. Gedman's got to hold on to his position to maintain 3rd in class. That was good racing from the pair of them. It looks like Gedman just got the line wrong through the fast right-hander. That just gave Berryman a sniff of an opportunity. They were side by side at one moment, but could not capitalise it. Gedman recovered well and good racing. Both drivers holding their line. It's not making contact. But Berryman is smelling blood. He's smelling the blood of that Scotsman out in front. Look how close he is. They don't even have to get off the throttle. Just a slight lift from Berryman there. That's going to compromise. You've just seen that slight lift. I think compromise any chance he had at potentially going for a move. Gedman quite defensive line there into the turn 1. Gedman is struggling. Are those tyres being cooked alive on that BMW? I think they are. 9 minutes remaining and Chris Gedman is under pressure now. Just seeing a different line there from Berryman, just taking a bit of a wider line onto the power a lot earlier, straightening the car out. Just saw the difference there in speed. Both drivers, not the most optimal line. Gedman's made another mistake, it's gone wide. He's now going to be on the inside, Berryman, but Berryman, good driving. He is quite conservative there, which is fair play to him. There was an opportunity to send it up the inside, but he didn't go for it. He's being patient here, Berryman. Some good driving with Berryman. Gedman now to the inside, defensive, forcing Berryman to the outside. Can he do the old switcheroo, the old crofty line? He can't. Good defensive driving from the BMW. This is a cracking battle. This is what we want to see, lads and ladies, and Mark Conway. So an early upshift there to second, try and duel the torque off that Porsche, get the traction down. Missed the apex there, good Berryman. Great battle here there between P8, P9, third in class. Right, what's happening? We've got the other flags out on track. So MGK, Morex still stuck behind, Aldori is third, he's got traffic through there, they're coming through the traffic now. I did say this a few laps ago. So here is the traffic. Aldori will be waiting, hoping this BMW to get out of the way on this little bit of the mini straight here. He does, blue flags are being waved. Is he letting him go? He is. Sorry, I couldn't quite tell. It looked like he was trying to hold the line there for a moment, that BMW, but he does get through Aldori. He's now 3.2 off Morex. Go back to Berryman, as these two have been serving up an absolute cracking main course here from a battle, as Berryman is just looking so much more confident through that sector. But look at this, Frank Jr., Frank S. has joined the race. He said, hello guys, what are you doing here? I'll have a piece of this battle. Gedman again, a little bit wide. Let's get on board the helicam. So Frank is now very close to Ben Berryman. He's now pulled to the inside. Berryman's letting him go. Berryman's letting him go. I think that's wise. He's got to focus on Gedman. He won't want to lose time battling away to Frank. It's a different category car. Gedman will potentially do the same. But then again, Gedman probably maybe not, because Gedman's thinking, well, hang on, that car, you're protecting me from Berryman. But he does. Frank goes on through, and the battle is reignited between Chris Gedman and Ben Berryman. Let's not forget as well, Chris Gedman is carrying some damage. We saw him have that little ding with Moggs earlier on in the race. We don't know how much downforce that BMW is carrying. So how much damage did I say? Damage or downforce? Get the words straight. Let's just quickly go back as we're about to cross into the final 5 minutes of this race. And MGK is 5 minutes and 32 seconds away from a double race win here at Zandvoort. He's doing an absolute spectacular job to hold off the charging ball of Morex in that 99 Audi. These two have firmly dropped Aldori now. He's 4.1 off the pair of them. Chris Gedman, it looked like we had the yellow flags out there. We've got a slow car. What has happened here? Is that... no. Sorry, I'm just trying to work out who that car is there. We've got the 1771. Who is that? That is TCR. So is that a lapped car? It is. Oh, there's contact between the lap car. So TCR, Gedman and Berryman. Captain's involved here as well. There's flashing lights. TCR gets to the outside. Lets captain through. So I'm not sure what happened. It looked like there was yellow flags out on the final corner, but decisions are as they were. I think they have made a mistake there. Maybe if they'd been potentially made contact, maybe, and they slowed down because Frank is 8 seconds up the road. He only passed last lap. So I've got a feeling these two, Gedman and Berryman, maybe had a bit of a coming together and they both slowed down. Because there's no way they're lapping 8 seconds a lap slower than Frank. There's nothing else that can explain that gap. What it has done, Captain has now come right up to join this battle. We've got more cars pulling into the pits there as well. That's KY and Lego from P15 and P16 pulling into the pits. So we've got so many cars in the pits this race. Drama's just struggling out there. But two men who aren't are these two, MGK and Morex. These two have been absolutely phenomenal with their race pace this evening. So we have a few laps remaining here. We've done 23 laps so far. And Moritz, has he got one last charge in him? Gap is just under a second now. 9/10. 2 minutes remaining, couple of laps. Oh, hang on. Let's go back to Ben Berryman. He's got ahead of Gedman. I'm not sure what's happened to Chris Gedman, but he has gone off. And he's dropped way back. So Gedman is now P12, KM gone to 11, Captain is now up to 4th, P10 overall, and Ben Berryman is unleashed. So apologies for missing that on the stream. We've been witnessing that battle for the last, well, throughout this race, but I've missed it live on stream. But Berryman has got ahead of Gedman for whatever happened there. But Captain has now closed right up. He's just sniffing a potential chance to just keep his championship hopes alive and finish on the podium here in category. If he wants to challenge McCutcheon, he's got to finish as high as he can. Let's just switch our attention to the front runners, because Morex and MGK, and look at the traffic they've got up ahead. We've got 1 minute and 7 seconds remaining, the last lap of this race, and we've got the leader with 8/10 lead. But look at the traffic he's got on track to negotiate. He will be sweating buckets in that Ferrari. He'll be flashing the headlights, no doubt. He is feeling the pressure now, MGK. I hope that these guys get out of the way and just let these two leaders battle away. So it looks like we've got the white Audi. Oh dearie me, this is going to be very entertaining. The two cars battling for position. I think that's Cletus, potentially. So he goes through one. Does Moritz also get through? He does. And he gets through both cars, so that probably wasn't as dramatic as I was making it out to be, but it would have still been a little bit of twitchy bum time there for MGK and Moritz. But look at the gap! That traffic has cost him. We're in the final lap here at Zandvoort for PureSimGear round 9 of Formula Racing League on PlayStation 5, and this gap has come right down to the final few corners. He's just got to keep it clean, MGK. Ooh, apologies, I did not mean to do that. He's just got to keep it clean, MGK, and he's on course for a double race win. He's got a couple of corners to go. Look how close Morex is. One corner to go for the Ferrari. What a day for the Italian outfit it has been. A win in 24 hours of Le Mans and a double race win here in Zandvoort. MGK takes the checkered flag. He's your double race winner tonight. Morex comes home in P2. An absolutely fantastic challenge from him. His championship title hopes are very firmly alive going into round 10 of this season. Aldori comes home in third. Missile Dogshaft, a lonely but solid race from him in fourth. Danny McCutcheon is going to have also your double race winner in AM. He's firmly got two hands on that trophy now, just like Morex in pro category. So double race win from Danny McCutcheon. P5 overall, a cracking performance from him. Cletus is going to come home second in class, 6th overall. He's been showing some mighty quick pace tonight, and that is very much rewarded with that P6 finish. We've got a huge gap now between various cars. Naisbitt is going to come home in 7th, weaving on the straight there in the Lamborghini. So P7 for Dan Naisbitt. Then we have Frank, all the way from back of the grid. A great drive from Frank. Let's not underestimate the drive he's done to finish P8 from the back of the grid. Captain has got ahead of Ben Berryman, so Captain's going to come home in 3rd in class, Berryman 4th in class, KM 5th. So Captain just ever so slightly having a quick, sneaky chance at that title. Chris Gedman home in P12. He's done some phenomenal racing tonight, holding off Ben Berryman for so long. Not sure what happened to him, whether it's a mistake, whether it's contact. But either way, solid drives tonight from Chris Gedman. And then we have the final car, which is Andy Winters. I think that Audi has run out of gasoline. That Audi is trundling back. Well, it's not even doing that, it stopped. We'll probably see Andy Winters get out the car in a minute and try and push that Audi across the line, but he will not be finishing this race. He won't be taking the checkered flag. And unfortunately, with 39 minutes or 40 minutes of racing, he was P14, but he ain't going to get that, I don't think. I'm not sure where that will drop him, but he did not take the checkered flag. So that may put him 16th. We'll let the stewards work that one out, but that's unfortunate for him. But anyway, MGK, wow, what a night for him. Pole position, let me just check, did he actually take P1 in practice as well? He didn't. So Missile Dogshaft was quickest in practice, and MGK was second, so that would have been fastest in practice, qualifying, race winner, race 1 and 2 would have been pretty much the perfect night. But he actually missed out on fastest in practice by just under a tenth. Wow. But he was pole position in qualifying with 135.4, and then double race win in race 1, finishing 2.3 seconds ahead of Morex, and then finishing 3/10 after 40 minutes of racing in race 2. So, hope you've enjoyed the races, guys. It's been a tricky race for a lot of drivers out there, but I must say the standard of driving tonight has been very good compared to recent weeks, and that's exactly what we want to see. Just a quick plug onto what's to come on FRL. So Tuesday night we are back here at Zandvoort for round 9 of Tacos Tuesdays, and then on Thursday night we have late night run by my very good friend Mark Conway. He's the admin for late night, and we are back here at Zandvoort for that. That begins at 9:30 for practice, 10:30 for race. It's been a really interesting and popular season or series. So stay tuned for that. And just a quick plug for the series that I am involved in from an admin point of view, and that of course is the phenomenal 8 hours of Indy we have upcoming in just under a couple of weeks time now. The drivers are firmly underway with their setup and strategy preparations. We've got a full grid of 30 cars. We're going to have live commentary on the Friday night for qualifying, live commentary throughout the race on Saturday. That is going to be an absolutely fantastic race, and that will be live streamed on here, so please do watch that. If you're not in the car and you're driving, if you're not in the car, feel free to whack the stream on. The chat will probably be very much alive with other drivers commenting away. If you're not partaking in the race, still join the live stream. It would be great to have everyone there watching live. Let's get as many likes and viewers as possible. But also stay tuned for the Friday night qualifying. We've got an F1 style format with 3 sessions, with the slowest drivers being knocked out each session. Then we have a pole position shootout for qualifying 3. So something a little bit different with GT racing, and certainly something a little bit different to what we had with Formula Racing League before on ACC. So yeah, that is my plug for that. And then just a quick plug for Patreon as well, just a thank you to all the Patreon subscribers throughout PlayStation 5 and PC. Your support is very much appreciated. And for as little as £3 or £4 a month, you can also join the Patreon scheme. There is a number of different tiers offering different levels of rewards or benefits. One of them being on PlayStation, you can have your real name on the server. So if you're not yet a Patreon member, please do check that out. And yeah, have a think about subscribing. So I've been your commentator, Lewis, tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the couple of races we've had. I look forward to seeing you guys all on track throughout PlayStation 5 and PC in the coming week. And yeah, I'll see you next week for the season finale of PureSimGear Super Sprint Sunday. Have a good week. Take care. Bye bye.